There is something in Long Ring Longland. Today we gather here, on the rarest of days. As you can tell by my very rare attire, I'm wearing a Christmas hat, reminding us of the celebrations that have come. And I'm wearing a black sweater, symbolizing the horrible jokes and the death of the old year. Horrible jokes, I mean, like, you know, the, I haven't seen you since last year. Anyway, last year, I even did these, like, likelihood ratings. Let's go through these real quick. So, Blackbeard, Third Fruit, didn't happen. Elbaf? No, didn't happen. I think it would have happened, so I will give myself half a point. Because it would have happened if there weren't so many breaks. Half point. Devil Fruit Origin Explained. Or revealed, rather. I'm gonna give myself half a point because we got the Dream Stock. I don't remember when that was, though. We technically did see Elba. I'm gonna give myself a full point. Actually, no, because I said World Tree. I specifically said World Tree, so I'll give myself half a point and half a full point. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna go like half-seas, you know? So we did see it, but we didn't really see it, unfortunately. Alright, Ancient Weapon Lore. I don't think we really got lore, aside from the Mother Flame. I don't think that's lore, so I'm not gonna give myself this at all. Chapter containing Eam, I nailed. There were a lot of chapters containing Eam. We got a full freaking story of Eam. You know, we still don't know anything about him, but we saw it. Because we don't know if the Lucia thing is it. Exactly, right? So I'm not gonna give myself that. I'm not gonna give myself that. To be fair, as you can see by the color, I didn't think it was likely. So at least I got my expectations right. Return to Wano obviously didn't happen. Obviously it did not happen, I didn't expect it to. I think it will happen, but I don't think it's gonna happen for a while. Spoilers, it's not on the 2024 bingo. I wanted to put it on, but I didn't. Will of D lore, but kinda actually bait. I don't think we got anything with the Will of D this year. I don't think we did. So I'm not gonna give myself that. Full point? Why though? We did? What was it? I don't remember. Close family member dies. I'm gonna give myself a almost fully green circle for this. Because functionally, and I'm not talking about actually, functionally, Garp is dead. Functionally, that's it for Garp. I'm gonna give myself a point for that. And in One Piece, I nailed that. I nailed that. When Saba was... Oh! You're right! I completely forgot about that. Exactly, that was this year. Yes. Full point. Full point. Also, Ginny is dead. I don't count Ginny, because that's like a close friend slash family member. That's a close friend to Kuma, not really to us, you know? I'm basically gonna give myself a full point for that, but because of Garp, and not because of someone else. So I got the Garp stuff right. Very good. Final Road Poneglyph location. Still don't know that. Law versus Blackbeard. Blackbeard wins. I mean, of course. I think everybody expected this. This was an easy prediction. I can't see half the stuff on my own screen. Final decision on Zoro's eye. I don't think there's anything to Zoro's eye. I don't. It pains me to say this, but I don't think there is anything to Zoro's eye. My argument was that, like, he was pushed to the edge, right? He literally saw the Grim Reaper, and I was like, okay, listen, Zoro has witnessed death, so now in his next fight, if nothing changes, then that's it. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Maybe something might still... Because if we're going with the Sabaody reverse, right? If you recall original Sabaody, Zoro is the first one to get bopped, because he's the core fighter, you know? Kuma was sending a message, oh wait, hold on. Speaking of Kuma, I need to set up a big disclaimer. I completely forgot to set a big disclaimer. Because all of this is with the assumption that I have not read the new chapter, which I believe is 1103. No, 113. It's weird to me that Fujitora and Rayleigh also have eye scars, and both are swordsmen, and both are super strong. I think Oda uses scars just to, like, convey how strong a character is, right? It's like, your scars make you, so it's just a way to convey strength, basically, is what I think it is. If a character has a lot of scars, chances are they're very strong, even if it would indicate the other, you know? Like a character with few scars would indicate that they are so OP that they don't even have scars. But I think Oda kind of does the reverse. Like, Luffy's scar is literally across his entire chest, and that's what makes him Luffy, you know? It was that big moment. So I think it's the same for Shanks. Like, Shanks is literally missing an arm, right? Oh yeah, and Fujitora freaking cut his own eyes out, right? Right. So Zoro's Eye, I'm not giving myself anything on that. Kizaru versus the Straw Hats a la Sabaody. I got that 100% right. Maybe not. Actually, I'm going to give myself half a point. Because a la Sabaody, not yet. Not quite. The fight doesn't seem as straightforward. You know? Dragon Bounty / flashback with Vegapunk. We didn't get a bounty. I have that on my 2024 bingo. We'll talk about it. We didn't get a bounty. We did get a very, very, very long flashback with Dragon. Dragon might not have been the spotlight, but I think I deserve at least half a point. At least half a point. Because Dragon was a lot. There was a lot. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this again. I'm going to do yellow and I'm going to do green. Dragon talking to Vegapunk at Okura was 2023. I believe that too was this year. Yeah. I believe that too was this year. Whatever the case, I think I deserve at least 0.5, maybe even 0.75 points. Also, isn't, this is completely unrelated because I already looked ahead with the Year of the Rabbit Carrot special. Enlighten me. Isn't next year the Year of the Dragon? Pretty sure next year is the Year of the Dragon. I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it is. Egghead ends. Just like with Elbaf, I think I'm wrong on this just because there were so many delays. I think this would have happened, but it didn't. So no points. VV follow-up, 100%. We did get a VV follow-up. I think we're going to get a lot more VV very soon. Very soon. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it a lot more. So many plot points to resolve still. I think the point of Egghead will be that a lot of things are unresolved because it's a springboard for the final saga. So I think by design, Egghead will end kind of abruptly. I think what we're witnessing now is the final act. So I think we're basically in the fight section, and there will be like no epilogue, if that makes sense. Year of the Rabbit, Carrot special, you can't see this. This didn't happen. This didn't happen at all. I don't think she's even in the cover story. She might be in a color spread, but that doesn't count. Don't think that counts. Dragon actually does something. I mean, he did do something. We got the Dragon flashback. I'm gonna give myself half a point. Half a point because he didn't do anything in the present day. Half a point. He did a lot. I think Dragon did this year more than he has in all of One Piece combined. So I think I deserve at least half a point. And I think after Egghead, we're gonna have another arc where we need to deal with a lot of things going on in the rest of the world. Because Egghead right now is such like a... It's such a convergence point of so many things. I feel like it needs an explosive ending, and then we need like a meanwhile, you know? We'll see. Smoker appears. Did appear? No, he did not. We don't count that. This is no points. This is no... To be fair, I completely expected this. As you can see, it was marked red, meaning I didn't expect it, and it didn't happen. God damn it, Oda. God damn it, Oda. Saul Goo Demon. I was being very funny. So Saul D. Goodman and Robin reunite. This didn't happen. Again, I think because we expected Egghead to end a lot sooner. A lot of these now looking back is just like they were hingent on Egghead actually ending. I kind of want to go back and hear what I had to say because I was probably super confident that Egghead's gonna wrap up. And then Oda was like, but wait. 5 elder clowns are clowns. What do we do with this one? Do we count all of the things that even allow Egghead to happen as them being clowns? They didn't kill Kuma. They didn't kill him for a very long time, even though they probably should have. They're still messing with Luffy instead of just killing him. Because one thing we talked about, if you remember, we talked a lot about the whole... He was being like very theatrical about defeating Luffy. He was gonna be like, I'm gonna kill every last one of you, and then Luffy will be last, right? We talked about how it's sort of like the Negan thing. Of first killing one, then killing the other, and then breaking them down, right? Because he's like these insects. But that is kind of being a clown. Saturn is very scary, I know what you mean. But he's also a bit of a clown. Maybe I'm projecting, right? If I... Let me just set the record clear. If I was an evil mastermind... Oh boy, I would be an evil mastermind. I would literally annihilate Luffy the first chance I get. I wouldn't make a show of it at all. I'd be like, you can threaten me? I'm not taking that chance. I've been living the good life for like 100 something years. I'm gonna one-shot you. Kill some low random Marines by looking at them. He is very scary. He's very, very scary, even with the whole, this is like the first time I've come to the surface in a long time. He's a literal devil. He's very scary, but he's also very, I'm gonna give myself half of a point, okay? Because I still think we currently have the problem of Oda doing some things that are kind of like, if it's just a character, I've said this a million times, if it's just a character flaw and this is how they do, fine. But if they're meant to be big brain antagonists controlling the entire world, they are a bit too lenient. They're a bit too lenient with certain things. If it's just a character flaw and they view everyone as insects, makes sense. We're not going to debate the elder clowns. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna give myself a quarter of a point. You convinced me. A quarter of a point. Just like that. Okay, Ancient Kingdom lore. Did we hear about... I don't remember when this was. The Iron Giants and the technology stuff, was that this year? Or was that last year? Because, I mean, technically we did get stuff with Lily, right? Do we count Lily lore as a part of Ancient Kingdom lore? I would say yes, because we got some stuff with Emu. I think so too. I think so too. I'm gonna give myself half a point. Take another point. Okay, we're gonna do 0.25. So as you can see, we are now introducing complex mathematics, right? So green is the strongest, while yellow is kind of weaker. So this right here, this equates to this. So you have to do maths to figure out how wrong I was. Or right, I guess. Bragi and Dory return. Oh, did they return? They returned as the absolute goats and annihilated the mega clown kid. They returned, and they returned. Oh boy. Perfect. Perfect. Full point on that. Full point on that. I love that chapter so much. I love that chapter. It's such a beautiful chapter. You got a bingo, maybe? Oh yeah, I did. I definitely know how to play bingo, by the way. I definitely do. Alright. Rocks connections. I don't want to say full point, but I also don't want to say... Because, I mean, the God Valley stuff, that was unprecedented. You reckon full point? The God Valley stuff was big, but it also didn't give us that much. I'll give myself a full point. Full point. Full point, just like that. And Roger's weird egg didn't happen. Unfortunate. And Kobe did not become the Vice Admiral, but he has gotten a huge buff. He's not officially a Vice Admiral, but escaping from Blackbeard, huge buff. Huge buff. Huge, huge buff. So this did not happen, but still huge. So I think I did pretty good. If it wasn't for like my silly ones, let me mark the very silly ones now. Oh my god. Be the biggest mess of all time. You're not a Vice Admiral still? I don't think he is. I don't think he's gotten to a promotion. Yeah, he's a captain right now. So if it wasn't for like the very... I'm gonna mark silly with S. This was silly. This was silly. This was silly. This was silly. This was kind of silly, but also kind of not. So with the exception of the silly ones, I think I did pretty good. If I wasn't trying to be very bold, I would have done a much better job. Count it as a W? I do. Big W. And another W. Someone pointed this out. I completely forgot about this. In one of my Dressrosa videos, I mentioned how the animation looks a little bit like Wit. And there are people now saying, oh my god, you called the Wit remake. Because I remember there were shots of like Sabo with like very, very thick outlines, and it literally looked like Season 1 Attack on Titan. And I put up pictures of that. That is aged very well. I saw a comment about that, I got a good laugh out of it. So that's another huge W. Alright, it's time. We're gonna address the bonus right off the bat. The bonus, Weevil lore. The reason why it's here is because, frankly, I've got no idea. I've been thinking about Weevil for such a long time, and I have no idea what Oda wants to do with him. Literally no clue. He has connections with the Rocks Pirates, and he has connections with technically Whitebeard. And then I'm thinking, like, maybe Blackbeard wants to do something with him? I've got no clue. Weevil has to return. 100% he's gonna return. But I don't know, what role will he play? I've got no idea. Think we're going to get another Impel Down breakdown? Maybe that's where we meet up with him. Weevil came in during Wano, during like one of the intermissions, and then at the same time, like the warlords are replaced, so he's not relevant immediately from that perspective. And I'm just like, Oda, what are you cooking, my man? What are you cooking? Because he has big connections, and that's what has me like the most caught up. Like, what does Oda want to do with him? This might not be this year. he might be some sort of emergency forces for the final war of some sort. I don't know. That said, let's get into it. Let me get out my eraser, because I'm doing this on paint if you haven't noticed. 2024. This time, extra wacky. I promise this time it is extra wacky. A lot of these predictions are not predictions, they're hopes. So, let's go down the list. We're just going to go in a bit of a random order, and we'll figure it out. Under this free, it says new One Piece movie. I didn't put it in any of the frames because this is about the manga, right? None of these predictions are about the live action or about anime. I think we're getting a new One Piece movie this year, because Film Red came out last year, right? Pretty sure it was last year. So I think we're due for another one. Let's do this one. I know what it is. Smoker and Tashigi are back. Okay, listen. I know how it looks like. They need to come back. They absolutely need to. I think this year, we're gonna start drawing battle lines. And Smoker and Tashigi need to be there. They have to. To be fair, this is a bit of recency bias because I talked a lot about Tashigi in the Zoro video. Together or separate. I think basically together, they might show up separately, but I think a lot of their scenes will be together. Because I think that's kind of their dynamic. I think they're a dynamic duo in that sense. Because I know they're doing different things now, but I still think that, like, eventually they'll be together again. Because I think it just makes sense. Well, every single time we've seen them, they're basically together. And I think that the push-pull dynamic between Smoker being... Like, Smoker is already sort of walking the line like we saw in Alabasta, and then Tashigi is kind of more in the direction of the Marines, but eventually she also cracks in Alabasta, right? Ditto for Punk Hazard. Tashigi also has to come into her own as a swordsman. 100%, yes. That's what I mean. I need a scene between Tashigi and Zoro. Maybe it's because I was building headcanons in my video, but I think Tashigi will pop off. I think this year is when you buy Tashigi stocks. Right now, they are very low. Right now, they're very, very low. But you should definitely buy them. Because, oh boy, are Tashigi stocks gonna pop off. When we get that Tale of Iroh scene, you'll come to me and tell me you were always right. I'm so glad I invested. Tashigi barely helped with Garp. Garp doesn't matter. Garp doesn't matter, trust me. This is not based in reality. This is not based in reality whatsoever. This is just based. This is what it is. Okay. Let's go for this one. Oh, this is a spicy one. Moria returns either as a Blackbeard ally or Blackbeard has Moria's fruit. Let me explain. When I went to watch Thriller Bark again, and I was thinking about the big raid boss, how Moria pulled in all the dudes into himself. Who is there that can pull in things? Can you imagine the insanity that would be Blackbeard paired up with Moria? If he can suck in literally everyone's shadows with a freaking black hole, that would be insanity. In terms of building a boss, that would be the biggest boss you could ever build. It would be beautiful. The only reason why I'm sort of hesitant about this is because Moria was kind of a because Moria's character in hindsight is a bit of a tragic one, right? That he was messed up in the new, like, he's still a baddie, but he was messed up in the new world and then he kind of gave up on everything, right? It's kind of sad, but at the same time, think of the potential. Think of the potential. I'd love this to happen. We also should not forget about Nightmare Luffy, or Shadow Luffy, whatever he was called. Maybe Oda wants to bring that back. I don't think so, because I don't think there are a lot of people who really liked it. It was kind of like a, hey, listen, we'll pump you up with random buffs. Like, literally, Luffy was stacking buffs there, which was kind of odd. I think Kobe did free him, yeah. I think so. Whatever the case, Moria is going to be back. This is once again, this one is actually more based in reality. It is also just very based, but it's also based in reality. Okay. Oh, Loki reveal. So Loki has been mentioned. I completely forgot about this. But when I was researching Elbaf for another secret video that may or may not come out, because the draft is very messy, Loki exists. And Loki existing implies that he will be important, because Loki in Norse mythology is mega important. Now the thing is, a Loki character in the world of One Piece sounds like Blackbeard. Loki in Norse is a menace. Loki in Norse mythology is a horrible, horrible little man. So I don't know what he's gonna do. Yeah, I think we saw him in Big Mom's flashback, yeah. Loki is an odd one. Very, very odd one. Because I assume with Shanks being there, like, Loki can't be evil. But if he has the name Loki. And like I said, in Norse, Loki is a nightmare. He literally, like, I'm just thinking back to all the things. There's the story of, who was it? Basically, the story was, I think it was about the hammer, Mjolnir, right? And he yoinked the hammer, and he gave it to the giants. And then the other dude had to come and get married with one of the giants while dressed up. And there was like a whole... Loki is a menace, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of Elbaf society we don't know about, could go a lot in a lot of directions. I think so, yeah. And that's what I mean. I think we'll find out more about Loki, but I just don't know like where he will align on the D&D chart, if that makes sense. I think we'll get to see him. He's too important of a character not to pop up next year, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. Not much else to say on this one. Every single one of my Elbaf predictions holds true for this as well. I believe I didn't... So Elbaf is still on here, and I still think we'll get to see like the World Tree and everything. All of this I think still holds true. I'm not sure, a lot of people are theorizing that like on Elbaf, Usopp might get like Mjolnir or something. I don't know, because like why would Usopp have a hammer? That's kind of an odd one. I do think Elbaf will be Usopp's arc though. Mirror Dressrosa, they'll probably have some sort of Colosseum. That could be something cool. Why would Usopp have a hammer? Well, he has used hammers, but like his shtick in the final saga especially, I think should be him being a sniper, you know? I think this is where we need to lean into the masteries. Yeah, I know the 10-ton hammer. That's how one of the greatest fights in One Piece climaxed. Usopp versus Perona with the big hammer. But like in the final saga, what's gonna happen? Is Usopp gonna shoot off a thing and then run in with a freaking hammer? I think it'd be kind of goofy. I wouldn't be against it because I think like imagine the meme potential of freaking Usopp busting out literal Mjolnir. It's like people thinking that it's like another joke with the 10-ton hammer, but like no, straight up the hammer. He uses a hammer in all of his fights? No, he doesn't, because he snipes Sugar. There he doesn't use a hammer. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he should get the hammer. Because I'm just thinking like, I think it's time we need to lean into our mastery. So that's where I'm coming from, right? But at the same time, now that you say it, yeah, I think he has used the hammer literally every single time. Yeah. Best part is that personally, I don't care either way. If he gets it, I mean, I love Usopp. He wields Mjolnir. Great. If he doesn't get it, makes sense. He's a sniper, right? Either way, it's perfect. So for me, it's a win-win. Let's move on. Basically, all of this boils down to, I think we'll get a lot of Elbaf stuff. I think Robin will reunite with Saul D. Goodman. I think we're going to meet Broggy and Dory. Usopp's probably going to get caught up on all of their shenanigans. Usopp might tell stories of his own triumphs. There's a lot we need to get to there. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Frankie will use the wood from the tree on Elbaf. We've talked about this a lot. 100% yes. I think this is where we get like the final version of our ship. In the same way we moved from the Mary to the Sunny, I think we're not getting rid of the Sunny. My prediction was always that the escape from Egghead will damage the Sunny enough so that we need to repair it, and on Elbaf is where that happens. I think on Elbaf, like sailing into the final saga, the ship will get its final buff with the World Tree. Or with the Atom Tree or the Eve Tree, or whichever one of those is like a bunch of stuff there that could be, you know, all the stuff. I don't remember which one was the one you already heard about. One of the trees. I'm sad Zoro hasn't used a lightsaber. If Zoro uses a lightsaber, I will actually mauled. I do not want lightsabers in One Piece. I don't. We saw it once as a bit of a goof with freaking Vegapunk. Please, Oda. Please, Oda, let's just use swords. No lightsabers, please, man. No. Okay. Why is this still on? Forgot about that one. Roger's weird egg explained. 2 electric boogaloo. There we go. I think it has two O's. Leave that there. We're just not even gonna talk about that. We're not even gonna talk about that. The reason why it's called Egghead is because once Roger died, that doesn't even work because the freaking lab. No, that does work. Yeah, let's not think about that. Let's not think about that. Frankie has one. Frankie is an anomaly. Zoro should not use a lightsaber. No matter what Zoro does, he should not use a lightsaber. His forefathers would literally turn in their graves if he used a lightsaber. Imagine wielding like Enma and using a lightsaber. Why would you do that? Don't do that. You shouldn't do that. Besides, with hockey, like his swords are basically lightsabers as is. So let's not go all the way. Okay. Mysterious ex-warlord lore. So this happened very, very recently. The warlord that Ace defeated. That one has me very, very curious. Because introducing someone like that, this late, an odd one. Man marked by flames, perhaps. Perhaps. Something else, perhaps. Perhaps. But a very odd introduction. At the same time, I'm also leaning on the side of maybe because his introduction was like so random that we shouldn't pay attention to it. And literally Oda showing it to us like in a flashback with this brief thing was like, that's how this happened. Don't pay attention to it. So I don't know. It's a very odd one. Do you think Luffy meets Shanks this year and do they fight? I don't think this year. I don't think so. I think, personally, I don't think Luffy should meet Shanks up until the very, very end. And at the end, there should be probably like a Davy backfight or something. And that's it. So no, I don't think so. I think that's kind of supported by the fact that, like, Shanks is already leaving Elbaf. So if we are going to Elbaf, which 100% I think we are, I think, like, Oda already told us that Shanks will be gone by the time we're there. But the ex-warlord stuff, I don't know what to think about that one. So I just put it on there. Maybe we're never going to hear anything about it. And like I said, maybe the fact that we don't even know a name, we don't know anything about it, maybe that's already Oda telling us that we shouldn't care. At the same time, though, this is Oda. So, you never know. If I had to bet on it, I think this is the man marked by flame. Which goes back to, like, why Law might have known about him and stuff, right? Because Law is pretty read up on these things. Or, was it not Law was a kid? Well, it doesn't matter. Either one of them. Maybe both of them actually knew about it. I think both of them might have known about it. I don't remember. This one. Oh, this is, again, Final Road Poneglyph. We're luckily stumbling onto all the ones that I didn't change. Final Road Poneglyph. What do we think about this one? I think it's time, right? I think it's gonna happen. If Kuma dies at the end of Egghead, who do you think will get his fruit? Blackbeard, Gorosei, Navi, Navy, Vivi, or the Straw Hats? I think it makes most sense for it to be Vivi. That said, would Vivi want to eat it? And would Luffy want her to eat it? I don't know. I think it makes most sense for Vivi because of like the Lily connections, right? And if that's how, this was a theory we talked about as well, like how the poneglyphs were spread across the world, right? Is potentially by bopping them with the paw. So if that's what Lily did and that's how Vivi will somehow do the reverse potentially, I don't know. I'm thinking about that. Maybe. I think Vivi makes the most sense. And it would also kind of be cool, because keep in mind, I need to think back. No, this is right. No one on our crew has actually eaten a devil fruit. We are 1,000 plus chapters, 1,100 plus chapters into the series, and with the exception of like Sabo, and obviously all the flashbacks, we have never actually seen anyone get a devil fruit in our crew. Isn't that ridiculous? So, if the final Straw Hat, Vivi, gets it, I think it'd be kind of poetic. I think it'd be kind of cool. Rumor is guy with the burn scar has the last one, Blackbeard's guy said so. Yeah, I think I remember that, yeah. I think that's where, that's basically where all that circles around with the marked, man marked by flames. We'll see. Maybe it's Davy Jones. Let's move on. Oh yeah, right. This is a very bold take. Hold on. This is a very bold take. Dragon has no bounty. Listen. Why I thought about this is we keep hearing that he is the world's worst criminal. That should imply that no matter what his strength level is, he should have the highest bounty above everyone. But Oda still hasn't revealed it, which seems like an odd choice. So it now makes me wonder. Imagine if Dragon's actual wanted poster like reveal, literally just says, wanted dead. Period. And that's it. Or maybe even just wanted alive. I think for me, that would hit even harder. Because like, I don't get caught up in these numbers. I don't at all. I know people get very excited, because I think Oda also like hides jokes in there, right? Like with Blackbeard's current wanted bounty, there's like a message hidden in there that I always forget. If he has no number attached to him at all, to me, it would almost convey his strength and like importance even more. Because we've seen people with ridiculous bounties. Like Luffy's bounty, the inflation in the world of One Piece might be almost as bad as it is IRL. Maybe. Maybe. So to me, it's kind of like big number, who cares? But if you give me a bounty with just wanted dead or just wanted alive, that's where I'm like, oh. Ooh. This guy's spicy, you know? So personally, I would almost like that more. We'll see. And the reason why I came up with this, by the way, we do have a precedent for this. Because of Sanji's bounty, right? It was wanted alive. So, it has happened before. Alright. Let's open up this one. Rocks is not actually all bad. Hear me out. Remember my tinfoil theory about how rocks came from the east, and then all the slaves are set free, somehow, we still don't know how, on God Valley, and this entire clash happens. I think Rocks might actually not be that bad of a guy. And I think his name is twisted in history because of how strong he was. I think Rocks might be the pinnacle of the narrative being twisted. That's what I think. I think God Valley is kind of hinting toward the fact that Rocks, in the same way that has happened with Luffy, by the way, with the same way that, like, looking from a strictly outsider's perspective, it looks like everywhere where Luffy goes, chaos happens. Like, Luffy went into Dressrosa. Dressrosa was almost wiped off the map. But we know that he freed everyone. We saw the true story. And I think if that were the case for Rocks, it would kind of be interesting. I think it'd be very, very interesting. I don't know if we'll learn that till next year. Probably not. Probably not. But I thought it was worth talking about with the God Valley stuff. All of this is hingent on the little we know of God Valley. Because I'm thinking, like, what we saw of the fight there, it didn't seem like he was trying to mess stuff up. It kind of seemed something like genuinely that Luffy would do. Maybe not, because Luffy doesn't really go out looking for trouble that much. He kind of stumbles into trouble. But you know, basically, I'm not putting a lot of stock in this one, but I would not at all be surprised if Rocks isn't actually a baddie, which would also make the Blackbeard stuff even more interesting. With the whole Blackbeard naming his ship the Saber of Zebek and everything, that would make it even more interesting, because Blackbeard might have misinterpreted Rocks' message or something. I think that'd be cool. I think that would be pretty cool. Which, to be fair, like, going back to the Blackbeard stuff, let's also not forget that he kind of also values a twisted version of freedom. It's a very twisted version of freedom, it's still freedom. So, you know. Basically, we'll learn more about Rocks. Then we'll see. Let's keep going. Why is this still... Did I mess something up? I don't think this should be on here. Will of D-Lore, but actually kind of bait. So this is also left on here. Not much else to say. I heard a rumor that Lafitte was in Rock's crew. Looks like a member of the crew in the flashback. I have no idea. When do you think we'll get the reveal of how Blackbeard steals devil fruits? I think with the personality switch stuff, that might be a clue toward the origin of how he does it. We talked about this a bit then as well. But the fact that, like, Vegapunk might have been inspired by something that happens in nature, and we might get like a reverse explanation, right? So the explanation might not actually happen with Blackbeard. Because I'm thinking, like, can you imagine a scenario where the mechanics of Blackbeard stealing fruits is explained with Blackbeard? I don't think so. Because, like, story-wise, he kept it a secret once, so why would he reveal it this time? So to me, I almost envision it happening with Vegapunk through something that seems unrelated, but actually ends up reverse explaining Blackbeard as well. So in that sense, I'm kind of expecting it to happen relatively soon. We all want them to meet, but Saul might be doing his own thing now. No. He's read about the Straw Hats. He said to Robin that she will find her own crew. She'll find her own friends. And then they're going to meet on Elbaf. They're going to hug. They're going to do the Dere Shishi. It's going to be very funny. I will love it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Stop ruining 2024. It hasn't even started. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, let's do this one. Okay. This is one I've tweeted out recently. Let me just use the select tool. Mihawk, Nika Church, and Zunisha connection. The cross has started to pop up. And now we know that Kuma's Bible was the Nika Bible, right? That was like the first thing that a lot of us probably questioned on Thriller Bark. Why the hell is he carrying around a Bible? Now we know, it's Nika. And then we have Zunisha with the circle eye, and we have Mihawk with a circle eye and with a giant cross. Doesn't that seem convenient? I think Mihawk will be in some way connected to the whole Nika stuff. I do. I have no idea how, but I think his vampire nature, I think the whole imagery of him often popping up with like the moon behind him, and I think him being a generally cold dude who just so happens to also lean like in terms of respecting Zoro and stuff. I think all of that circles around some connections that we're yet to explore. Also explaining why he doesn't even have a crew. I think this would be a very interesting connection. The circle eye and the cross is what gets me. Because the circle eye connects him to Zunisha, but the freaking cross connects him to Kuma. And now we've seen the cross many times. It's a long shot, but I know it's a long shot. But wouldn't it be kind of poetic if Mihawk turns out to be a warrior of Joy Boy, literally wielding a sword inside of the thingy? Well, it's a knife. It's not a sword. It's like a butter knife inside the cross. But how many other characters in the world of One Piece can you name that walk around with a giant cross? Not many. At least I don't think so. It'd be very awkward if there are many. That would be very, very awkward. That's my bold prediction. I think there is a connection there. I think so. We'll find out. This is a longer shot than the one Von Augur took on Jaya. No, it's not. No, it's not. You will see the truth soon, my son. Don't worry. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Like I said, this time extra wacky. I'm going to draw a line to there. This time extra wacky. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. All right. This one. Oh, Egghead ends. Is the same one. It has to. I will say nothing else about this. I will say nothing else. It's happening this year. It's happening. I'm gonna be so bold. I'm gonna add by Q2. So ends in May-ish, June-ish. Nothing else to say there. I think Egghead's gonna wrap up. We have a lot of things to resolve, but I think it will resolve in an explosive way. Okay, this is also on here. Third fruit. This links to this. Whoops. It turns out I left a lot more on here than I remember. So not much else to say. We already talked about this one. I got that one wrong, obviously. It's gonna happen this year. People haven't been predicting this for 15 years, right? No way. This is a unique prediction that no one else would put on their bingo at all. No one could have predicted this. Let's move on. This. Bonnie equals law. What I mean by this? Let me just not reveal that yet. Bonnie equals law. What I think is going to happen to Bonnie is she will become Law in the same way that Law had a connection to Doflamingo. Bonnie has a connection to Saturn. I think Bonnie's upcoming arc, she will sail with us, number one. And I think she will be our personal anchor to the world government. I think she will be the reason why we take the fight to the world government. Because right now, we have links to like Akainu and stuff. But we don't really have an explicit link with the world government itself. You know, we obviously, like, Luffy wants to take it down, obviously. But we don't have, like, that personal flair. Bonnie fits that role perfectly. In the same way the Law did. I don't think Blackbeard wants Moria's fruit for himself. My guess is that he was in prison. He could give the fruit to someone else later. I think the fact that he's imprisoned kind of proves you are correct. I think so, yeah. Because based on how fast he took Whitebeard's fruit, it seems like they can just do it instantly, right? So, I don't know. We're all on the same page that Blackbeard's gonna get a third fruit, right? Right? I think Kizaru, Sentomaru, Old Man, Vegapunk, and Bonnie leave together and we leave with Lilith. Maybe. I just don't know how Vegapunk's brain is gonna work. If he gets disconnected from the server, then he's kind of like an NPC, you know? So I don't know how that's gonna work. Alright, let's move on. Let's move on. So with this, yeah, she's gonna be our personal anchor to Saturn specifically. That's why we need to kick Saturn's ass. Speaking of, I think my memory is gonna serve me right on this one. Why is I think this version is a bit bugged. I'm pretty sure again, it has to happen. Probably not gonna happen this year. Let's move on. Let's move on. We're not gonna talk about it. We already talked about that. This. There it is. Saturn Punch. Bonnie or Luffy a la Sabaody, or maybe Kuma. One of these three is gonna punch Saturn in the face exactly as we saw with Sabaody. Saturn will be punched, and we will protect someone, in this case probably Bonnie. It's either just Bonnie is gonna punch him herself, Luffy will punch him, or freaking Kuma is gonna appear and punch him in the face. 100% that's what's gonna happen. Saturn will be punched back into the manga, even though we're already in the manga. So we're gonna have to wait for the anime to see him actually punched back into the manga. 100% this is happening. I don't know by who. Someone's punching Saturn. Just like freaking Charlos. Do you think Saturn loses this arc? I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be a lose. I think it's gonna be an escape situation. I don't think so. Because if Saturn goes down now, I think it kind of undermines the rest of the story. I don't think Saturn can feasibly go down yet. I think it's fine if he takes a big friggin' punch to the noggin, but I don't think he's gonna stay down or anything. If anything, he might actually chase us and destroy our ship, you know? Because in that sense, it would still convey the fact that we are strong, we will fight back, we even managed to knock him down, but even while chasing us, he still manages to inflict a lot of damage. And in that way, we kind of do both, conveying Luffy's strength, as well as conveying Saturn's strength, while not undermining either one. Saturn needs to be a force? I think so, yeah. I think so. If they are ever to escape my slander about them being freaking clowns, Saturn needs to do something gnarly here. And I mean gnarlier than freaking Ginny's flashback. Or Kuma's flashback, I guess. He needs to do something so vile in the present day that I want to see him become a donut. It needs to happen. I'm not as attached to the Sunny as I was with the Mary, so it can go. I don't think the Sunny will be destroyed, because that would kind of undermine Frankie's dream. But same, honestly same. The more I look back at it, I love Sunny's design. The interior of the Sunny, I love like 10 times more. The interior of the Sunny breaks all physics, I'm pretty sure. Because like the inside of the Sunny is way bigger than it has any right being. Personally, same. I'm way more attached to the Mary than I am to the Sunny. It is definitely like nostalgia, but you know. Basically, yeah. Saturn's gonna be punched, but he's gonna do something really, really bad. What happens if someone on our crew's dream is crushed? I think it would be very, very interesting, and I love talking about these things, but I genuinely don't think Oda wants to do that. I don't. I think he's fine with punishing characters in a lot of very, very heavy ways, but I don't think he's going to do something like that to like one of the core players. Especially in the end game. If it was supposed to be like a character building moment, then maybe, but I don't think here. Saturn can't leave his circle or has limited power. Is that why he commanded the Navy to execute Bonnie? I'm not sure, honestly, if it has anything to do with the circle. I just want Saturn to be an unstoppable force. I want Saturn to be as overwhelming as Kuma was when we first met him. Because he needs to be. Because how the hell are we going to set up the final saga? How would this be the start of the final saga if Luffy is already an equal with him, right? Because Luffy still can only go up. The crew can still only go up. Saturn should have peaked, you know? Saturn's an old dude. It could be a thing where someone's dream is crushed and they discover a new dream. I think that would be a beautiful message. I agree with you. I think it would be really, really beautiful in terms of having this massive down, but then still telling the story that even something like this, you can come back, right? It's the same thing we saw with Luffy. Luffy lost everything. Luffy ran into a cold stone brick wall with Marineford, but he still came back. And that was beautiful. So if Oda did want to do something like that with one of the dreams, I would be down. I personally, sign me up. I don't think it's gonna happen. I am all here for that sort of story. I think it'd be great. Do you think the rest of the elders get to be arc bosses? I have no idea. There are too many of them. There are kind of too many of them for them to be like standalone bosses. So I'm not sure. Maybe it is a case. Because one idea that I've been playing around with in my mind is if eventually both the Navy and Luffy and the rest of the pirate world all unite against the world governments, and then we could have a situation like in Marineford, where instead of the admirals standing in front of Luffy, it's like the elders, right? Something like that, where all of them are present, and all of them are forces to be messed with, but I don't know. Because, like, there being 5 of them, that's what has me, like, how do they fit in? Basically is what I keep asking myself. It's an odd one. Basically, Saturn should be strong, but he should be punched. Because he deserves it, mostly. Eye patch. Parentheses, someone loses an eye on Elbaf. So this is one of my favorite facts about One Piece. Apparently, Oda stated a long time ago, I've looked this up, I think this is true. Based on everything I've read, this is true. Oda said that we will know that we are nearing the end when an eye patch appears. The reason why is because an eye patch is so iconic with pirates, right? It's the same thing with Blackbeard. I said if Oda introduces someone named Blackbeard and he's underwhelming, I would drop One Piece. We all know what happened. It's that sort of energy, right? So if someone with an eye patch appears, that's big. That's big. Because we know characters who have scars over their eyes. Zoro doesn't have an eye, and he doesn't use an eye patch. So, you know, there's precedence. Someone loses an eye on Elbaf. This is based in Norse myth. There is the story of Odin giving his eye to the well, I believe, something like that, where he drinks from the well, right? And he gives up his eye, I believe, to Mimir so that he can see through his eye. But that would happen in the present day. And I don't know if we want to do that. If someone needs to trade an eyeball for, like, knowledge, in the actual myth, it's, he trades the eye to I think, find out stuff. But I think he also hangs himself on the tree for 9 days and 9 nights or something like that. I don't remember the full myth, but it's about knowledge, and Odin gives up one of his eyes. That's what happens. So I think that would be interesting. If it really is supposed to be the Norse land, which it basically is, with Loki and stuff, I think that would be really, really cool. But that would insinuate that it's happening in the present day. And someone is now using their eye. Losing their eye. I think it's Luffy. There are a bunch of covers in One Piece where someone has the eye closed. Also, characters like Oars are missing eyes. Won't be this year, have to connect to the left eye of Jaya. Yeah, there's a lot of connections with the eye. I know. I'm gonna hedge my bets on this one. I don't think this one's likely, but I think it'd be really, really cool. If it is genuinely leaning into the Norse myth, you will never hear the end of it from me. I'm gonna be so happy. I'm gonna be so happy. It would be messed up. Can you imagine Luffy removing his eye? Can you imagine people who would say that it was foreshadowed with Chapter 1? Because Luffy stabs himself in the eye, only this time he would actually just yoink his eye out? You know what would be the best part? If Luffy using the eye patch isn't even something that happens. Luffy literally finds an eye patch, is like, this looks cool, and starts wearing it. In the same way he used, like, the Shanks cape in the Wano raid, right? It was, like, not a big deal. He was just like, this is what pirates would wear. And he just puts it on, it's like, yeah, nice. Let's go for this one. I reused so many of these. I don't remember this. Ancient Kingdom lore, not gonna say anything more. I think if we are entering into Elbaf territory, we might get mentions of it. Because all the books, all the lore. Nothing else to say here. Let's move on. Vivi sails with the Straw Hats. Another easy one. I think Vivi is the final Straw Hat. I think we will get a lot more allies, but I think Vivi is the final, like, official Straw Hat. To be fair, she's not even the final one. She actually joined before Robin. Let's not forget about that. What if we are forced to take a detour after Egghead? Where do you think Luffy and the crew would go? I've got no idea. We theorized a bunch about this after Wano, right? Because after Wano, we had no idea where we were going. There are a bunch of islands that are, like, relevant. I'm kind of, like, all in on the final saga train. I do want to tick off all these big boxes. Where else would they go? I think a raid on Blackbeard's island would be cool, but we've already seen that. I don't think Luffy's gonna attack Blackbeard's island because we literally just saw that with Garp. It wouldn't make sense in terms of writing. I don't think so. I would be fine with returning to Wano. I've said this before. Even though, yes, it literally Wano just ended. I think it would be cool to, like, return to Wano for a little bit. I'd be cool with returning to anywhere we've been, basically. It'd be cool to go back. Maybe we'll get an explanation about the hall under Ennie's lobby. The hall, yeah. Like, all the halls, the water rising by, like, however many meters it was. There are so many things, which, that's what I mean, right? After Egghead, we need a meanwhile arc. We desperately need to get caught up on everything going on in the world. And that's why I loved, like, the intermissions between Wano acts. Like, when an act ended, and we cut to somewhere else in the world, I was like, oh, here we go again. And that's what happened every single time. The freaking intermissions in Wano is when I knew things were getting real. And I think we need that if we are to set up like the final war. We need to address the Grand Fleet. We need to address the freaking holes that are now left behind. We need to address what happens to Long-Ring Longland. What happens to all of these places? Oh yeah, by the way, another thing. Talking about Long-Ring Longland. I was thinking about places with long, very bizarre mountains. Wano. The old Wano that is underneath covered in water, right? And then we have Long-Ring Longland. A place with very high mountains that has a weirdly spherical structure. What if a certain Nika with a certain stretching ability literally stretched the mountains up to enclose something within? Think about that. Think about that. Okay, let me explain again. Let me explain again. So basically, you know how there's an old Wano underneath Wano, right? And the old Wano is covered in water, it's very bad. And then there's a weapon hidden somewhere in there, right? And it has a bunch of mountains leading up. And then we think back to Long-Ring Longland. It's the same freaking thing. Long mountains, something underneath is covered with water, we don't know what it is, and it has this weirdly perfectly spherical structure of these tips coming out. So what if a long time ago there was a certain person with a certain gum fruit that literally stretched the mountains just up? Because One Piece is a water world, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And now we are hearing that after they annihilated, what the hell was it called? Leloucia? The water level is rising. So what if a long time ago, the water level was way lower, and in the middle of Long-Ring Longland, that is a perfect circle that the old Joy Boy extended up the mountains to protect, there is something in the middle, under the water. Think about that. Confirm can't have consonant puller without consonants. There's something in Long-Ring Longland. Trust me on this one. There is something in the middle of Long-Ring Longland. Potentially, a long time ago, there was a Davy back fight, and someone with the gum fruit extended up the mountains for whatever reason. There is something in Long-Ring Longland. Sounds like a Netflix documentary. There is something in Long-Ring Longland. I swear to God, there is something in Long-Ring Longland. Return of Eustace Kid needs to be discussed. He's an absolute bozo who's run headfirst into trouble like 15 times. What is there to talk about? He's tried taking on people he knows he can't win against 15 times, and he's lost every single time. I think he needs to sit down. Okay, to be fair, I do think he will be relevant, I just have no idea how. Because I do think it is, like Oda showing us him getting annihilated by Shanks, I do think it is supposed to be like a message to us. That this is the stakes we are going up against. And being dumb will result in this. Even Shanks, the guy we think to be like the best guy, you know, Luffy's father figure and everything, he literally annihilates him because he's dumb. He went to his territory and tried attacking him. I mean, what did he expect? So, if he does return, I don't know what that would look like. I'm fine with him just being left behind for a little while. And honestly, the same with Law. I love Law, mostly because he's voiced by Levi's voice actors, and his vibe is just perfect. I love Law's vibe so much. But like, if he comes back into the story now, I think he just needs to be an ally and that's it. I don't think they need big stories anymore. Because Law's story was wrapped up. You're ready for probably the spiciest one? There have been a lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense in this bingo. I have one even better for you. Blackbeard versus Kizaru when Kizaru takes the L. Now listen. This is not a power scaling take. This is not a power scaling take at all. This is not even a story take. I was working on stuff. Listen. And now we've gotten hints of Kizaru potentially being an ally of sorts, you know? With everything we saw in Egghead, and Kizaru like spending time with Vegapunk and Bonnie and stuff, I'm starting to think that, you know, maybe he tips to our side. And then I'm wondering, we have a dude who is light, and then we have a dude with black holes. One of the most interesting properties of a black hole is that not even light can escape. Not even light. That is the only foundation for this theory. Literally, the only foundation for this theory is it would be so cool if Kizaru can't even fight Blackbeard because Blackbeard just doesn't allow him to escape. I think it would be so cool. You just want dark versus light? Yes, we will get that with Luffy. We will get that with Luffy. Because Luffy is the warrior of light, Blackbeard is the warrior of darkness. We will get that. But I want black hole stuff to be explored. I think it'd be so cool. I think it'd be really, really interesting. If Kizaru was just sucked up like a freaking, exactly, if Blackbeard's, oh no, you're talking about Kuma's fruit. I meant like, imagine a freaking scene. A freaking Blackbeard is fighting Kizaru, and Kizaru goes into light mode, and he just like starts swirling like down a drain. It'd be so funny. It would be beautiful. If freaking could flag the message. If Blackbeard's fat ass beats Kizaru, that'd be so funny. Like, bro's just gonna like swirl down a freaking thingy. It's gonna be so good. It'd be beautiful. Imagine if all the predictions this one turns out to be right. If freaking Blackbeard actually defeats Kizaru, I think at that point I'd just be like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with predictions. I completed that. I completed the predictions. Yeah, like, that's literally the only foundation for this. I just want freaking Kizaru to go down the drain. Because I think it'd be really, really funny. Kizaru just circling a drain of darkness. It'd be very goofy. Devil fruits fully explained. So this is not like they originate from dreams. This is not like they might originate from this. This is a concrete visual indication of how devil fruits are created and where devil fruits are created. Very bold prediction, but I think the devil fruits are gonna be explored before the war really kicks into gear. So out of all of these things, I'm honestly kind of more confident about this than I am about all of these wars. I feel like the origin will come with the Void flashback. I think so, yeah. I still think it'd be really, really cool if the devil fruits are just technology. I think that'd be really cool. If it's just like technology to fulfill any wish ever. And it was lost to time. Including Bonnie's fruit? Yeah, also that. Because Bonnie's fruit is still a mystery. I think Elbaf is a good bet for this. But generally, I think we should start to get hints. Probably going to be another half measure? Maybe. Because I think like at this point, the reason why I'm putting all of these lore bits on here is if we are going into the final war, there are not that many opportunities where the lore will even matter anymore. You know? Because if we are going into the final war against the world governments, we need to know like the stakes why. And I think like stuff like the devil fruits need to be explained before then. So in a weird way, I feel almost more confident about all of these lore bits. I already saw this. This is an easy one. Devon, I don't know, and or Lafitte at Egghead. Parentheses, Pacifista army, question mark? This is one we keep going back to because Oda keeps it hidden. There is a Blackbeard ship on Egghead currently. We don't know who it is. By method of elimination, it can only be Devon and or Lafitte. By method of elimination, no one else makes sense. Unless they can teleport, which I don't think they can. If it is Devon, she should be able to turn into anyone. And if she can turn into anyone, she might be able to override the Pacifistas. And if she can override the Pacifistas, well, Blackbeard just got a literal army. That'd be very interesting. Von Augur can teleport. The reason why I'm hesitant to say that like the teleportation makes sense from that angle, I'm not sure like how practical his teleportation is. If it genuinely is that like he can just teleport their entire ship, then at that point, it might as well be Blackbeard himself. Like if Blackbeard is on Egghead, I will lose my mind. But I'm hesitant to lean into this actually being like fully them just teleporting around. Because I think that'd just be too OP. If he can just bop everyone, that would just be broken to me. Because why do they have ships at that point? Just teleport there. So I'm not sure about that one. Sakura at full lead, but the time flow in this arc is chaos. Was Devon there? And yeah, you're definitely right that like the flow of time is very messed up. I don't remember. Well, it's gonna be either one of them. And clearly Oda has something planned with them, right? If we think about it, because this is something that, like, I'm not going to say any spoilers, this is something that Attack on Titan always did beautifully. The way Attack on Titan confrontations happen, especially in Season 4, is that you could tell Isayama is setting up these dominoes from all these sides. And then you open up with this big hurrah, and then as the fight builds and builds and builds, slowly but surely all of these things come into motion, until we hit like a crescendo after a crescendo. It was insane. I think the fight in Season 4, probably know what I'm talking about, is the pinnacle of that. Even the soundtrack was written like a freaking dance. It was beautiful, with all the little bits coming, like, at the end. It was so good. So if Egghead is that, and Blackbeard is kind of like the final hurrah, I wouldn't even be surprised if it is a reverse Uno with the Pacifistas. Because that's what it seems like. Egghead currently has a lot of things that are set up, and we are now dealing with, like, the big obvious thing of Saturn, but there are still so many things that are, like, set up around, and they need to come crumbling down. Because otherwise Blackbeard would just not be here. Blackbeard has no other reason to be here. Unless someone dies and Blackbeard is there for, like, the corpse. Wait, hold on, that actually makes sense. Wait, hold on. They had Moria, right? Imagine if he's literally here for a corpse. Unless it's a Seraphim, the regular... I meant Seraphim, yeah. So Pacifista, Seraphim, I meant all that under, like, an umbrella. So all of them, basically. Yeah. I just meant Pacifista Army as an umbrella term. Seraphim are included. You're onto something there? I think that'd be too messed up. Because we were told... Rox's corpse? Hey, yo! Wait, hold on. I mean, he did have a lot of storage area with a lot of very odd things, including literally Kuma's memories. I was going to say, I think it'd be kind of too messed up. Because we know that, like, Moria yoinked corpses, but we never actually saw that, right? It was just zombies. It was kind of goofy. Actually taking a corpse, that's kind of, you know, just One Piece. Kind of like that, though. I think that'd be kind of cool. Regardless, I think they're gonna come into play in probably the final acts. I think Blackbeard will function the same way he did in... Well, not Blackbeard, again. Blackbeard Pirates will function in the same way that he did in Marineford. He's gonna be the final wah-ha-ha-ha big twist. How would you kill if Blackbeard killed Saturn? I'd be cool with it. I would honestly be cool with it because then Blackbeard would become a literal devil. Blackbeard currently is the only character I think I would be actually fine with killing him. Because it makes sense with Blackbeard's fruit of negating powers. But, at the same time, do we want... Because, like, again, it's in terms of setting up stakes, right? If Blackbeard swoops in and kills Saturn, and Saturn almost killed us, it immediately sets up Blackbeard as ridiculous. He's a mega OP god at that point, you know? So we could be setting up Blackbeard. But I don't know if Oda wants to do something like that so quickly. Because he just introduced Saturn. Does he really want to introduce Saturn and then kill him off immediately? Past says yes, because Whitebeard showed up, showed off his Quake fruit, and died in the same arc. So, you know. Because, Whitebeard shows up before, you know. But we never saw Whitebeard fight until Marineford. And he dies right where he shows up. So, Oda has done this before. It hasn't been unheard of. Last one. I really hope this isn't a reused one. Let's see. It is a... Not only is a reused one, it's the most obvious one. Okay, let's come up with a new one. Let's come up with a new one. What else do we think is gonna happen? I'm gonna add a subtitle here. Kizaru is swirled down the drain, LMAO. You know what I'm gonna put on here? I know what I'm gonna put on here. Hold on. I know exactly what I'm gonna put on here. We're gonna move this because this is happening. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna copy this. We're gonna put that right there, right? So because we know, look at this. Look at this. This is how confident I am. Next year, I'm gonna come back and we're gonna get a bingo through here. You know what's gonna happen? Someone please tell me why am I using paint? Oh, you know me too well. You know me too well. Doflamingo reads the paper / Dofi is back / Dofi pacifista shenanigans. Not Pacifista, Seraphim. Keep calling them Pacifistas. Shenanigans. Cross-skilled break Doflamingo out of Impel Down? If we wanted to break out Impel Down, wouldn't we just send in Shiryu? Or Shiryu? However the hell you say his name? He's invisible. And he knows the place. Couldn't he just go in there? And just like open all the cages? Because Blackbeard freeing Impel Down again, that honestly seems more like a Blackbeard thing to do. Like we did last year, let's do likelihoods. So how likely each of them are. And we are strictly talking about 2024. Blackbeard third fruit, medium likelihood. The reason why I say medium is because his people are on Egghead. And they're on Egghead for a reason. And he also just folded Garp. Well, he didn't really fold Garp, but you know what I mean. You know, he's come back into the story, and he's come back into the story with a bang. Elbaf / World Tree, 100%. Loki reveal, 100%. Salty Goodman, 100%. Egghead ends, 100%. Next up, Bonnie equals Law, 100%. In Longer Than Robin tells the story of Davy Jones, says that they live at the bottom of the sea, but Roger wants to turn the world upside down. Davy Jones also has a locker, Emu has a locker, maybe the world is flipped. Well, I mean, the fact that Davy Jones's locker, like the real story of Davy Jones's locker is the whole pulling people to the bottom of the sea, that is not a coincidence. The fact that eating a devil fruit takes your ability to swim, and Davy Jones is literally the devil of the sea. I mean, all of these things, I keep memeing about them, but no way did Oda write in one of the most legendary... It's the same thing I said with Blackbeard. No way did Oda write in one of the, like, most legendary pirate mythos things, and it's not relevant. I will die on this hill. If by the end of One Piece we don't see Davy Jones, I will make a... Clip it and ship it. I will make a 24-hour long video talking about Davy Jones. I already regret saying that. I don't think we're going to return to Wano. It would be very, very funny if we are defeated on Egghead and return to Wano now. I don't think so. Oh, this is 100%. This is 100%. Devon and/or Lafitte at Egghead. I think this is 100%. Saturn Punch. This is 100%. 100%. Oda would not miss this opportunity. Mihawk Zunisha connection. Let's be real. This is a mega stretch. This is a mega stretch. We're gonna do red. No, we're gonna do yellow. Oh, actually orange. Orange. Leaning on the side of no, but maybe. Doflamingo reads the paper. He has to, right? He has to react to the Egghead incidents. It's too big. I'm gonna do yellow. I'm not 100%, but I think the Egghead incidents is just too great not to have a reaction from him. How many years do you think we have in the story? I've got no idea. Oda has said like 5 years for 35 years now. So in like 50 years, we might be onto the final saga. Jokes aside though, I've got no idea. 2028, because I think it'll be the year of the monkey. I wouldn't read into that at all. I would not. Because we saw just how much stuff can get delayed just because Oda wants to work on other things. I would not look at things like that at all. I think a lot of this will come down to, and God forbid, something happens to like Oda's health, like he had the eye surgery this year. There's so many things that could go wrong that like making predictions at this point is kind of pointless. Basically what I'm trying to say, I think he wants to tell the story he wants to tell and he's not gonna like compromise on that. So however long it's gonna take, that's just how long it's gonna take. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Alright, let's do more yellows. Moria returns. I'm gonna do this yellow because I think he will return. I just don't know in what capacity. Final Road Poneglyph, I will do this yellow because I think yes. Blackbeard versus Kizaru, let's be honest. Let's be honest, this is unhinged. Kizaru is not swirling down the drain. This is unhinged. The fact that I even put this on here is frankly, I should be ashamed. And the same goes for Roger's Weird Egg Electric Boogaloo. This is not happening. Eye patch, I'm gonna do orange because I think it's might be too early. Might be too early. And ditto for the Ancient Kingdom. It's too early. I think there is like very good precedent for it. I think it's too early. Mysterious Warlord. Red. Oda just introduced him through a flashback. It has to take a bit longer. Not yet. Mysterious Warlord will be relevant later. Vivi sails with the Straw Hats. Yellow. More so green. I think Vivi is already kind of back into the story. Now we just need to meet up. This just looks like yellow. We do a pale green. It literally doesn't even look like... I'm gonna mark this outside with a thing. Dragon has no bounty. I think it'd be really, really cool. And Oda likes doing these things. I think what happened, like I said with Sanji's poster, was genius. And I would love for Oda to do this again. So I'm gonna do yellow. Rocks is actually not all bad. I'm gonna do red, because it might be too early. Will of D lore. Too early. Devil fruits fully... I literally talked for like 10 minutes about how I think it's time to explain them. Now I'm saying it's too early. It's fine. And I think devil fruits fully explained, I will also say... Actually, no, I'm more confident about the devil fruits than I am about the Will of D. The Will of Davy Jones. As we all know. There we go. These are the likelihood ratings. And obviously, bonus Weevil lore. Weevil, my man Oda, you literally introduced him in Wano. Right after Wano, he is defeated again and taken to somewhere. You gotta do something with him. You gotta tell me more. So I'm gonna do green. Because you gotta give me more. What's going on with him? Tell me more. If all of this is linked with the breakout from Impel Down, I'd be so down. Can you imagine an arc where we follow like freaking Blackbeard breaking into Impel Down and the whole arc is centered around Blackbeard? I think that'd be so cool. I don't know if people would want to read that though. Because I think it's cool for a flashback, but an entire arc of a bad guy? Maybe people would get tired of that. I don't know. Well, this is going to be fun to return back to. I can't wait to come back to this in a year. And this will be like the most nonsensical bingo that I've ever created in my life. It's like freaking Mihawk Nikachurd Zunisha connection. Honestly, I'm gonna level with you. The only ones I care about is this right here. If I get 2 of these right, I would actually retire from One Piece. If I get 2 of these, Long Ring Longland and the Mihawk connection, at that point, I would be like, I'm taking off my tinfoil. No more theories. I'm done. I'm done. I did it. I did it all. There's nothing else to do. I've conquered the theories of One Piece. They're not gonna happen though. But alright, I guess that's the bingo. If you have your own bingo, send it to me. I want to look at these bingos. Preferably ones that are less unhinged. Let me just move my face so you can see. That says Blackbeard's third fruit.